What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Terror Table, a horror movie podcast. My name is Mitch, and I'm one of your hosts here every time you tune into this program. And with me, as always, we have
I'm busy.
the gang is back in town.
We're
We
here.
know it's been a little while since we've recorded, but we are very excited to record another fun episode on two films. We're doing a double feature today. We're doing Prom Night from 1980 and the sequel, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. And with us to discuss these films is the lead in our short film, The Druid's Hand, and also our good pal that we met through this podcast, former UFC fighter, now fucking actor member, professional wrestler, and actor member, actor who's now done a feature film as well. We are welcoming
Corgi
back
owner.
Mitch Clarke.
Yeah, the last one was the important one, Corgi owner. Hi guys, how are you?
Corgi's owner.
Yeah, multiple. It's hell. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Better now that you're here.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little beat. Like I have that I don't know if it's like a 24-hour hangover at this point. So
You're a little beat off.
Well, I went to a new metal night last night.
Yeah, it looked like you had fun.
Yeah.
Maybe too much.
Yeah. Don't feel good. Not feeling great today, but I'm happy to be here with my pals and reunited with Mitch again, because it's been a while since we've been able to talk, especially on the show. I think was the last time you were on, was that, or it would have been the Druid's Hand episode.
Yeah, that was the last one, and then before that we did some random one, and I was told I've been on your podcast way too much, so I made sure to go on my way to be like,
Who someone
Who
said
told
that
you
to
that? Yeah.
it was that, yeah, it was like you don't know, like you've been on there way too much. It was one of our friends that also worked on the Druid's Hand, and I was like, you know what? Not all of us can talk about Ace Ventura 2 as much as you can, but like I have good movies.
Shout out Derek. Yeah, no, you haven't been on the show enough, Mitch. It's been too long, but it's like obviously people have seen our output has lessened over the last year. We've been super busy, but it's still fun to just do this when we can, and that's why we came up with the idea of doing. I think Buzi suggested Prom Night.
Yes, you know what? A little selfishly, these are films I hadn't seen, so I was like, "Here's a good way to do it." And you said that the Mitches were interested in some schlock from the 80s.
Yeah, which is why I've just heard so much about over the years is Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. So I was like, well, we got to double feature this thing if we're going to do it. And then I found out that there's actually a third and fourth Prom Night movie as well. And the remake, which is a pile of filth.
So did the other sequels put the tagline of the movie before the actual title? Or...
No. There's some interesting stories about that one. So it's going to be fun talking about that one. But yeah, we're recording this in June. It's June 18th today. It's Father's Day. And Prom Night is coming up for lots of folks. So
yeah, it's grad season, so we're a little bit topical.
Exactly. Lots of finger banging going to be happening.
On the podcast?
Maybe. The night is young.
Wait and see.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we're just going to catch up a little bit. First off, Mitch, it's been, like I said, so good to see you again, and you've had a busy year. You've were in the Druid's Hand, and it's now like released everywhere. People can see it on the Screamfest YouTube channel. And since then, you've acted in a feature-length horror film written and directed by Saskatchewan legend Lowell Dean.
Yeah. It was really crazy, but without kind of the Druid's Hand, I would have never even really auditioned for the movie Dark Match. And then once I got the part, like Lowell Dean, he's done some crazy shit and some awesome films.
Yeah, Wolf Cop.
Like this, the lead in Wolf Cop, he's in this film. Chris Jericho's in it. Stephen Ogg is in it. It's like pretty surreal. Oh, Jonathan Cherry's in it, and
love him.
Yeah, well, he's like a super mega fan of UFC, and like I was just doing my best to kind of like no sell every time he was super interested, so I could pretend inside my head that I was cool, even though I'm not.
You're like, oh, UFC, that old thing? Yeah, I worked there for a cup of coffee. Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, he's like talking about. Oh, I watched last night. I watched Diego Sanchez against Clay Guida. I'm like, yeah, Diego's a pretty cool guy. we go for runs and stuff, no big deal. And then you're like, I'm gonna go eat all the catering now.
Yeah.
Yeah. When really it's like, yeah, Diego's the worst. Where he's like, we'll go for a 1 mile cool down, and then you run 10 miles, and you're like, this is total bullshit.
Yeah, so it's a dark match. It's a horror comedy set in the professional wrestling world. So it's kind of like the perfect place for you to really cut your teeth in feature films.
It's really weird because I only do one scene with any like pro wrestling stuff. So like I actually had to pretend like I was an actor. It was,
And you are now. You're an actor now. You've done it
Yeah,
multiple times.
You're a bona fide actor.
Yeah.
yeah, it's really weird, to be able to like be in the union and be like, oh, I can't do non-union stuff. I'm really cool. But it's just
That's
it's
bullshit,
very
by the way. You can. There's ways around it. But
Oh, okay. We're gonna chat later.
Don't let it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let anyone ruin your dreams.
And then like starting to get into like some stunt stuff and just like kind of getting into that world and pro wrestling's taken off really well. It's just like it's really surreal that like this past year has just been nuts. I think the biggest thing for me is like being able to go like basically from when Druid's Hand premiered in Broadway theater, that was a very cool moment for me. I got to go to a movie that I was in a theater that I had, you know, been to growing up in Saskatoon, and to have it sold out. Like I got to so many like showings of movies and stuff, and it was never like anything more than half full. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then you go there for something that you're a part of, and there are people being turned away for seats. And I think it just made that moment just so special.
Yeah. No, that was an absolutely incredible, unforgettable day and experience. And yeah, it's all still so surreal looking back on it. But yeah, no, it was just such a positive experience. And one thing I haven't shouted out enough is former guest of the show, friend, listener, Saskatoon Fantastic and Dark Bridges alumni Jeff Drake is the one that got us connected with each other. That's how we all became buds, and that's how you came on for the episode on Hellraiser. And Jeff did so much on the film as well. Like he was one of the first people to volunteer, and he was one of the very first people to come out and get his hands dirty in the prep period of making the film. So when Jesse and I were like blocking out, like trying to figure out how we're going to pull off some of these effects, Jeff Drake was the first person out there with an air compressor and getting his hands dirty, and it was just so much fun. And it's so appreciated how much Jeff has done for this show and us as buds.
Yeah, Jeff Drake's he's good shit. He's like even in the pro wrestling world, he's super cool. He's tied in with one of the bigger promotions in Saskatchewan, Prairie Pro Wrestling. He's come out and watched a couple of like my matches in Edmonton and stuff like that. He's just a solid dude.
Yeah.
And he was like just awesome to be around on set. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about Jeff Drake.
Yeah, he's the best. Well, now we got so much to talk about because it's been forever since we've been able to actually just sit down and dive into the stuff we've been watching. So I know, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go through everything I've seen in the last 3 months, but I'll try and highlight some of the ones. But Buzi, let's kick off with you. You want to talk about something?
Are you sure you don't want to kick off with Mitch? He has not been here in a while, so he
Sure.
can tell us about what. I would love to hear, like, how's your year going so far outside of that? And also, if I could ask a small favor, if you have anybody you're kind of in a rivalry with right now, if you could like cut a quick promo on somebody, I feel like that would really, do you know what I mean? Like add a little bit of something to our, like, hey,
a little bit of the spice.
Like you want him to shoot on someone?
Let me just
Exactly.
cut a promo. I'll have to think about it. I'll go through a couple.
Yeah. We'll
I'll
cut this out so it seems like really impromptu when you do it later.
Yeah. And then the magics of editing. And then I'll come back and I'll cut a promo maybe on Derek for talking shit.
I was gonna say
There
Daryl.
you go. That's
you should go with
perfect.
Daryl.
Okay, so I got a list. Because I'm using my phone because I didn't want. I'm actually too lazy to go downstairs to go get my computer. But like a couple off the hop. I literally today I watched CREEPSHOW, like the original 1982 CREEPSHOW, because it's Father's Day. And that's the first one. It's so much fun. I originally I put it as 3 stars when I was watching it, and then I'm like, yeah, this is 4 stars, just because George Romero does some. You have the Academy Award worthy acting of Stephen King in it as the massive hillbilly that grows into a fungus, and
that's an iconic unibrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's I believe for that one his forehead was sponsored by McDonald's, so that's why it's there. It just looks like a giant furry caterpillar just trying to eat up space on his face. But the Crate is another one of my favorites. I love Buzi, and I always we bond over our love of creature features, so the Crate was always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I overall I just love Creepshow. I love anthologies. They're fun for movies. There's they're always good to me. There's always like one that you can really hang on to. Another one that
is the Crate your favorite out of that group of films for Crate? Yeah. I think I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, the Crate is my favorite, and then the second one was The Raft.
Yeah, The Raft is good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in the second one, like they're just so much fun.
And shout out Leslie Nielsen, Prom Night alumni tie-in with Creepshow.
Yeah, oddly.
Yeah, kind of. Like he's just not in it for very long, even though he has kind of a pivotal role. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
HELLFEST was another one that we watched. I'd never seen it.
Do you like it?
Have you guys seen Hell? I liked it.
We talked about that one a long time ago.
It was fun. Sarah's not as huge a fan as me of like some schlocky old kind of like old style horror, and I just got Shudder. Like actually was just like bit the bullet instead of just trying to like find stuff on Prime and do like 30-day free trials.
It's so funny. We had the exact same conversation because I canceled my Shudder for a little while, and then it was like, oh, fuck it, I just need Shudder. Like,
just got bite the bullet.
There's only so much on Amazon. Yeah, like Prime has shit for horror.
Well, that'll go into one of the other ones on my list of just straight up trash. But I enjoyed. So I was like, she likes stuff that's a little bit more realistic, closer this time. She hates terrible dialogue in movies, so I think that's probably. And we picked HELLFEST.
So does she just like really dark stuff?
I think so.
Yeah.
The first time I saw HELLFEST, I wasn't crazy about it, and then I watched it again. It was during the Halloween season, I think, like 2 years ago, and I fucking loved it after that. Like, it really came around. I really came around on that one.
Yeah, it's fun. Like it kind of reminds us. We have Deadmonton here, so it's like for 2 weeks we got like this crazy horror or Halloween themed kind of like haunted house stuff. It's kind of fun. I get told that I have to put my hands inside my pockets because when they go to my first reaction is just to hit stuff.
Well, you're literally a walking weapon
just from years of training. So I usually just keep my hands buried in my pockets, but I enjoyed HELLFEST. It had some cool practical effects, the kills were fun, so it really kind of captured terrible dialogue on dates, like when you go on like first or second dates and you have the most awkward, shitty conversations. It really captured that well, I thought.
Yeah, that's why I always go for the circumcision the story, because it breaks the ice right away.
It really opens the conversation up. Yeah, like I the first kind of couple of dates, especially, like Mitch's were saying, if it gets like awkward, it kind of feels like a job interview at certain points. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Do you like bread?
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of cheese?
So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. So and then I'll do one more because you got to sandwich it with something terrible at the end, which was The Unholy. I think we'll go with that. I think.
Damn! I haven't seen this
that movie.
Yet.
Oh, that movie fucking sucks. There's Negan in it. I try not I'm kind of like you guys. Hey, I've been a part of a movie. You're like, you don't want to like shit on movies, but oh my god, it was awful. It was terrible. I've never been so mad watching. I was like, yeah, Negan rocks. I can't remember his real name.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, there we go. I'll forget
this
it in like 8
this
seconds.
Is newer, right? I haven't seen this.
Don't or do. It's up to you. It depends on your day. If you go in with expectations, that's the wrong way to go in. But I I hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it so much.
So do you think this was one of those like piggybacking, like, well, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's still kind of hot right now, so we'll get him and throw some dumbass story around it.
Fucking Negan's always hot.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I love how he's those two guys' dad on Supernatural, and he's like 10 years older than them. That dude's a stud. I like him in lots of stuff, but yeah, no, I haven't seen The Unholy. I haven't heard many good things. I think I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff I haven't seen out there.
I'm swiping left on this movie if it comes up.
Nice. All right. Well, yeah. So that was The Unholy, CREEPSHOW, and
HELLFEST.
HELLFEST. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, Buzi, what do you got?
Oh my God, I have so much to talk about. I don't know where to start. It's perfect that Mitches are here. Oh God, it's really hard to differentiate you two now. You look like the same people.
Don't even. I wish.
You guys stand close together, you assimilate.
You just got to change the location of the webcams next to each other.
I'm slowly squishing you guys together, trying to make the mouths move. So I just want to mention, because Mitch Clarke is here, that recently I was in Edmonton for work and I had some free time, so I went and checked out the lobby after a little bit of confusion, because their internet presence is very peculiar.
Oh, is it ever?
Are you talking about the Facebook page?
Well, if you're just trying to look for it by Googling it, it's not very handy. It takes you to this random back alley that you feel like you're at a safe injection site. Anywho, I managed to find the lobby. So I went and met Kevin. Super fucking cool place. I nearly spent like $300. I ended up just getting the beautiful 4K of Alligator that he just freshly got in. Amazing wall-to-wall horror. It's such a cool place. Like, it warmed my heart. I was in there for like, I don't know, half an hour just picking his brain. But I think the best part was like I walked up and like, you know, when you ask somebody, it's like, hey, I'm looking for a couple titles, do you think you could help me? And he's like, I'm sure he was expecting me to just ask some real basic girl shit. And then I was like, okay, like, do you have like a database for this or whatever? And he points at his head and he's like, it's all up here. And then I just started ringing stuff off. And he's like, oh, I think after like the second title I mentioned, where he realized that I wasn't looking for like, I was looking for like some like very like peculiar shit. He's like, oh, okay, all right. But yeah, he had a copy of Razorback I nearly got. Oh, there's a puppy. Is that Mia?
Yeah, that's Maya. She's so cute.
Wow, Maya.
I'm just sidelining this. This podcast is terrible. Podcast.
We got a corgi on the screen.
We got a corgi. Yeah, confirmed. One corgi on the screen. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to that. If you can find anywhere that has classic, video stuff like that feels like a little slice of before Netflix times, check out the lobby in Edmonton, or go support your local one if you have one.
That place is something special. It feels like it's like, I mean this in the highest compliment, that it feels like you're going down into like the most horror obsessed basement of someone's house.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my one of my favorite Jaws shirts. I got it from there. It's just like the drawing that was on the chalkboard that Quint stands in front of. Love that shirt. But yeah, I got that from the lobby. That place is so cool. Next time I go to Edmonton, I want to check it out again.
Yeah, so I just kind of want to give a quick mention of that. I think the first thing we need to talk about, because it's been so long and it was on the tip of our tongue last time we recorded, which is a while ago, we haven't talked about Evil Dead Rise very much.
Yeah, well, let's open up about Buzi or Mitch. Have you seen Evil Dead Rise yet?
No, it's it's on my list of stuff to go see once school's over, once I'm done teaching, which is a weekend.
That'll be the perfect movie for you to break out of the school year, just watching kids get murked.
I'm all about that life right now. It's the end of the year. It's awful, man.
The hatred's boiled over.
Dude, they're feral now. End of the year. There's a reason why the state stops teaching kids at June 15th. They're unhinged. It's hard to deal with some days.
Yeah. So after a certain point, they give up on trying to teach them anything. It's just we have to hold them here till a certain time.
Well, I'm trying to get them ready for finals.
Is there a detention facility?
Welcome to juvie. I mean, your school that you've been going to all year. It's I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to prepare them for PATs, provincial achievement tests, and finals. and they're just rebelling. And yeah, I watched a kid rip apart a textbook in my room. Like, it just like started ripping apart while making eye contact with me. And he's like 20 feet away. So like, and there's tables and chairs in the way, so you can't get there in time. So that was a fun conversation.
That's a gangster move.
Well,
Bold.
like, what are you like? What's the like those textbooks have been through enough. There's dicks drawn on every page. You know, I mean, like, there's no winning there. So like,
Yeah, that was years of history of dicks gone.
Gone.
Thousands of pictures of dicks screamed out the night.
There's some in there where you're like, I don't think you've ever actually seen a dick. Like, they're weird looking. And you're like,
dicks are weird looking though.
That
you ever seen one?
Yeah.
You ever seen like someone's dick other than your own, and then you start questioning your own dick? Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, that's
and
the
then
name of the game.
Figure out what the median is.
Yeah. Okay, Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, we've been waiting to talk about this for like a month and a half now.
Yeah.
It's a go movie.
It's okay. Is that how you feel? It's just a
go
good movie.
No, I love it. It's one of my favorites of the year.
I totally agree. I got to go with this was a while ago, yeah. But speaking of Jeff Drake, the lovely Jeff Drake, I went on a date with him to this movie, and we didn't share popcorn. He kept saying no, which I thought was kind of rude since we were together. But whatever. I was trying to save a little bit of money. Anyway, I want to say that I think that this, oh man, it sounds like really sacrilegious. This like might be my favorite Evil Dead movie, and I think it's because this location, I never thought about it till now, that this location services the vibes for this so well, especially down to like half of this place being abandoned. It feels like its own, like, this is its Crystal Lake playground. I feel like this is a great place for the Evil Dead 2 Rise. And I loved how maniacal, like, I know that they're always maniacal, but there was just something really fun about they would go between just being this extremely vicious, like, I want to say that I know that everybody is not caught up, but like it's very well referenced, like the keyhole imagery that kind of goes back and forth there, seeing kind of the mother go back and forth between being like super visceral and having this conversation with her child was just, I don't know, it was something so like vile about it that I thought it really peaked it for me. And yeah, just overall, I thought that everything was just done so well. And it's really hard to follow up something like 2013, you know, the one that was just like, wasn't it like the most bloody movie or something?
Yeah, I think it beat out Brain Dead, or like Dead Alive, for the most fake blood used on screen.
Yeah,
but that's
exactly.
And it's fucking amazing. Like, I love that 2013 remake as well. But that's the thing, is like, it's literally raining blood in that movie. So it's pretty easy to rack up the blood count.
Well, no, and that's kind of what I wanted to say, is that like, how do you go about, you know, not overshadow, but like keeping to par with something like that without just being like more blood? And I think it's the way that they went about it. Like, there's something to be said for finding creative ways to splatter shit. I think they just did a fantastic job. And yeah, I think this is a great addition to the Evil Dead franchise. I feel like the Evil Dead franchise is getting better. It's like fine wine. It's not to say that the first two aren't good at all. Like, they're fantastic, but it's just like, it's aging in such an interesting way, and you're seeing it become like more close to realistic violence and kind of stepping away from the jokiness that, you know, like,
which it still has though too. Like, that's what I like. It does. Yeah, I know that, like, it's like well documented that I'm like just a massive Evil Dead fan, and I know it's not like totally your bread and butter the whole time, so it makes sense that you love this one. This one would do more for you than the other ones. I love this whole franchise. There isn't one that I even feel is like a significant drop off. Like, I love Army of Darkness. I love Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead is easily top 5 favorite horror movies for me. But this one, and I was really hesitant about it, because when it was being marketed and like the trailers were coming out and the poster and everything, it was just like, I just don't know. It just didn't feel right for me. I was like, I feel like this is gonna be rough. And then I was completely proven wrong. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that I do think Evil Dead belongs in a cabin, but we have those movies, and like those movies aren't going anywhere, and they're perfect the way that they are. I love that they tried something new with this one. And well, I just loved it. I was genuinely shocked by what I was seeing in the last half hour of that movie. Like there's a moment that I really want to talk to Mitch Clarke about after you see it, because I don't know, and it's hard. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's like it's like a thing homage of sorts, and it's just
Interesting.
it's incredible, and it was just so much fun. It's the only movie I went to twice this year. So I've seen Evil Dead Rise twice in theaters, and I'm gonna watch it again once I get the Blu-ray. But it's
Also,
super good.
can I just tag on that in terms of like intros for films this year? What a fucking opening.
Yeah, it's
And
a
what a
great opening.
title card. Like it just smashes. Hi, Banjo. Now we have 2 for 2 on corgis.
Yeah, so Evil, it's really good.
How would you
What
rank? How would you rank them? Like your personal. How would you rank those films?
honestly for me it's and that's saying a lot, as I love Evil Dead Rise. It's order of release for me: one, two,
Yeah.
Army of Darkness, remake, and then Rise. I did
Wow.
think when I got out of Rise, I was like, is it better than the 2013 one? And it might be. I need more time. But like I love all of them. Like it's crazy that I loved Evil Dead Rise that much, and it's probably my least favorite out of all of them, and it's so good.
Wow. Do you have like a bigger connection now to the original Evil Dead because um you've kind of like lived that production like the same
It's
way where you were trying to do that they tried to do, you're trying to
it
like
was a
do it on a
huge
budget.
inspiration. Yeah, it was a huge
Nice.
inspiration. Just like, that's the blueprint for indie horror filmmaking, is the original Evil Dead, knowing what they did with that. And granted, I have no delusion that what we did is even near as special as what they did, but like it's just the spirit of it. I it Evil Dead gets better for me every year. Like I love that movie more and more. For the longest time I thought Evil Dead 2 was my favorite, because it is just so much fun. It's one of the most rewatchable movies ever. But
Mhm.
I do think the original Evil Dead is like, it's scary. It's a really genuinely scary, grimy movie.
Yeah.
What about you, Boozy?
God, you put me on the spot for this one. I still want to say that yeah, the original Evil Dead's probably my favorite, and then I like the was it 2011, 2013, this one, and then 2, and then Army last.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, yeah, because I was gonna say I don't like fun, so the least fun order is me.
I don't know. I think you're a weird one like that, though. You like lots of stuff that's like it. You loved Onyx, the Fortuitous, and it's like that's the same type of spirit as Army of Darkness. Like it was
Oh, I have to
definitely
say,
inspired.
because I didn't mention that killed. Like people loved. I was kind of confused, like not sure on if the humor for it would like go over well. People fucking
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, I heard like we haven't talked about it yet on the show, but the festival went really well. I heard lots of really positive things about it, and you guys showed some awesome movies.
Yeah, it was. Do you want me to maybe mention that quickly or no?
Yeah, go man, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So we also, since the last time we spoke, had the Dark Bridges Film Festival, our second year. And it went really, really good. We had our amazing attendance, and we had a lot of fantastic guests who are just wild. I want to say that Richard Elfman and his wife are fucking nuts in the best way possible.
Yeah, I'm
They
so bummed I wasn't there.
they made a video where Richard Elfman gets the shit kicked out of him by like a dominatrix for like 5 minutes, and then at the end of the video he's like, Saskatoon, we're here, and then they burst out. Shout out to Jay. Jay was part of this. They put a quick ensemble band together, and Richard Elfman came out shirtless playing the bongos.
Oh my god. And yeah, I saw Jay on the drums. Jay Luke.
Yeah, it
Awesome.
it was just strange.
Yeah,
And
that's
then we
awesome.
had the premiere of Shaky Shivers, so that was awesome. And we had Han himself, Sung Kang, and one of the producers from Shaky Shivers, Brian Yang, out. And John Allison decided to throw me an audible, and I had to do the Q&A with them. So that was I was hosting the Q&A for that, so that was a lot of fun. And I was really excited that I managed to, our very last question of the entire thing, I got to ask Brian and Sung if they thought Sasquatch was real. So that was a highlight.
Nice.
What did they say?
Kill.
Sung kind of took it away on that one, and he's like, I actually really want Sasquatch to be real. And then he basically, in great detail, kind of like described like a Harry and the Hendersons type situation where he would just be best friends with a Sasquatch. So yeah, he really moved up in my books for that.
Yeah, we also got it because he is I met him in LA and he's just it was very brief, but just a super nice guy. And I still haven't seen Shaky Shiver, so I can't wait to see that. But it's crazy that Dark Bridges was on the weekend that Fast X premiered, and Sun Kang is in that, and he was in Saskatoon.
He would rather be there for premiere of his film.
Yeah, he went to the premiere, but then he's like, he probably missed out on a lot of press stuff. Come to Saskatoon, and that's just a real baller move. So shout out! I really am looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, just shout out to those guys. They were fantastic. When you get the chance, check out Shaky Shivers. That also went over very well, and it's a comedy horror throwback to like the campy movies of the 80s that we're talking about, even something like Prom Night. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough.
Awesome. So we did Evil Dead Rise. Do you want to do another one, Buzi?
Yes, I would love to do another one. Let me check out my list. I have a nice list here. Oh, I want to talk about this one, and I didn't know it existed until very recently. I was perusing through Tubi and I came across a film called Creep, and it wasn't new. It was old. It was from 2004. And I was like, what's all this about? So I looked deeper into it. And oh God, what's the name of the guy in it? Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
Sean Harris.
Yeah. So yeah, I looked at it and I was like, oh, Sean Harris is in this. Sean Harris is fantastic. For anyone who hasn't seen Possum, it is probably one of the most fucked up films ever, and Sean Harris is the main character for it. It is wild. But anyway, I checked out Creep from 2004. And I would say that this was a hidden gem for me. I didn't realize what I had stumbled onto, but this film is very cool. If you like the chase scene from American Werewolf in London, but want it stretched out into an entire film about a cannibal, then this is the film for you. It is very fucking cool. Sean Harris's character, kind of like when they do show him, is almost like Descent-ish, like one of the creatures from the Descent. It's very, very cool. But like, I was reading a little bit into this, and I think Sean Harris like method acted for this, so he got really fucking weird and became like a vagrant or some shit. That's
hilarious.
Anyway, I would highly recommend checking this out. It's a little hidden slice that I didn't even know about until just randomly coming across it.
I completely forgot about this movie. It came out in 2004, so I rented it when I was working at the video store.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I saw it, but that was like, I was smoking a lot of weed at that time.
You're off the dro.
I don't remember. I don't remember it a lot, but I just looked up some of the screenshots, and I'm like, thinking about Sean Harris method acting as this character is so funny.
I just think he was like in a sewer, just it's a random corner of London, just taking a shit buck ass naked, and maybe somebody walks by like, is that fucking Sean Harris?
Yeah, no, this yeah, I need to revisit this one. Looks like
Could
a little.
Imagine meeting like a method actor out in the wild, getting like prepared. Like it would be some
Jared Leto and Morbius.
Yeah, it'd be like Jared Leto, but he'd be in a small town. He's like, I have to. My next role, I'm a white trash hick from a small Saskatchewan town.
Boy, do we have the place for you.
Yeah, and then he's like, I hate liberals. And you're like, holy shit, he's doing it.
He's one of us. All right. So yeah, Creep from 2004. I'll jot that down for the show notes.
I just added it to my to-be list.
Hell yeah. Okay, like I got a bunch. I don't know if we'll go through all of them today. We'll probably do another episode hopefully this week where we'll be able to say some more. But yeah, Renfield. I went and saw Renfield like 2 months ago. And
that's the Nicolas Cage film.
Yeah, Nick Cage and Nicholas Hoult. It's another one. I'm a huge Cage fan. I do like Nicholas Hoult. I was so excited about this movie when I heard they were making it, knowing the backstory of like how Nicolas Cage has always wanted to play Dracula. And there's like some funny stories because he's Like he's a part of the Coppola family. So when Francis Ford Coppola made Bram Stoker's Dracula, he like was initially up to play like Keanu Reeves's character, and he didn't get it. For there's like a bunch of family drama there. It's pretty funny, but he's always wanted to play Dracula. And then when the trailers came out, and I'm a horror comedy guy. I like horror comedies, but it just didn't look like it was going to be something I was going to end up really liking. Heard some
Yeah, I'm
positive.
not gonna lie, it did not look very good.
It was fucking awesome.
Was it actually? That's
so
awesome.
so funny? I keep in mind though, like I saw it 2 months ago. Can't remember a whole lot about it, so that the staying power hasn't been huge for me. But I laughed my ass off in that movie, and I could not believe the level of violence that they were showing. And Nicolas Cage just really revels in that role. The slapsticky nature between him and Nicholas Hoult, it's an abusive relationship story, and it gets so wild. There's a couple scenes with them like going full on it, like just full on action mode, and limbs fly everywhere, blood spatters everywhere. There's some really amazing practical effects. There's a lot of CGI blood, of course, but
Yeah.
that's just because the level of violence that they were playing with is crazy. But
So this is like a legit horror comedy that delivers in both that. That's very interesting. It kind of looked like it did. I'm not gonna lie. Like
no, I really liked it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun, and loved seeing Nicolas Cage in that role. There's like the makeup on him in the first, like, because you kind of watch him deteriorate for the first half hour of the movie, and it was just tremendous how good it looked. And no, I'll definitely be watching this one again, but it was a surprise for me. I did enjoy Renfield. It was a lot of fun.
Can I ask, I don't know if that's even a spoiler, but did they set it up for a sequel? Does he feel like this is something that is a one-off, or?
I'm pretty sure it's a one-off. I could be wrong, but haven't paid too close attention to that. But I really don't. I think it's just a one-off.
Could you imagine Cage just bankrolling, just like, I want more of them. I want to be Dracula more.
That would be awesome. I would watch another one. I'll say that for sure. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got that. I got some other ones too, but do you want to hit us with one, Buzi?
Yeah, this is just going to be a quick one because I don't have a lot to say. I watched it a little while ago, but I did go and check out Pearl. I feel like I should. A lot of people were talking about it. I want to cover all the bigger films as well, because a lot of people said like they really liked it, and I think that whatever the story of Pearl is just doesn't interest me that much. I love hearing about like the how it was made and kind of the idea of just getting another thing out, and it's fantastic that way. I just think that like overall the character of Pearl isn't one that catches me, and like I put a tiny little letterbox review out for it, but it was like my favorite part was anything to do with the alligator. That was all great horror. They always did stuff like, it's just the whole movie felt like her just saying like mama. That's the review for me. Mama.
Yeah.
I'm going to town, mama.
I'm really excited to see. I'm a big fan of that franchise so far, so I'm excited to see Maxine when it comes out this year.
I think they're well made. It was just this franchise, or the whatever the story is, just doesn't encapsulate me.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I could also touch on, I saw BEAU is Afraid, which is the new film from Ari Aster. I knew I needed
heard too much about this, so yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so it's a 3-hour fucking movie, which is too much. It's insane. We got to chill out on these. Unless you're Martin Scorsese, please, let's chill out on the 3-hour running times.
Is Ari Aster in his long drawn out movie phase?
I don't know. I think that the guy hasn't missed or even come close to it so far. Like, he's one of the best living directors right now. And I liked BEAU is Afraid. But I will say, like, that the running time is definitely felt for me, and it's just in the middle. There's like a middle portion where the first hour of the movie is so intense and so like anxiety inducing that I was like, my palms were sweating while I was watching it. Like, it's weird because it's like not really a horror movie, but it's just him putting you in like the most uncomfortable scenarios with this like really kind of repulsive character of BEAU. Like, Joaquin Phoenix is just like, he's one of the best living actors right now as well. and I really liked it, but I knew I needed to see it in the theater because I was like, I need to make sure I'm not going to be able to touch my phone because with these 3-hour movies, you know, like I want to actually focus on it, and it's when you run the risk of getting distracted if you watch a movie like this at home. So went out to the theater for it, and I did really enjoy it. It's definitely my least favorite out of all the three of his movies so far. But you know, even with that being said, he's just a great director. There's some truly jaw-dropping moments in this thing, specifically in the last half hour. Some of the most uncomfortable shit I've ever sat through in a theater, but it was really fun listening to the audience react to it because there's no way you can prepare yourself for what you're going to see. I don't know if you know the reveal or if you've heard anything, but I don't know. I can't. I definitely can't see Buzi being a fan of this one. But there is like so I'll send you maybe when it drops, you'll just watch the last like 10 minutes because it's fucking crazy. But yeah, I definitely don't think this one has the Buzi stamp on it. Just doesn't seem like something you're gonna love.
It also seems like like you said, it was the least horror of the things he's put out, which that's fine if he wants to be more of a, you know, go in more of a direction of psychological thriller kind of film. But yeah, I think I probably should check it out. 3 hours is really hard to swallow.
Yeah,
you know, if it was like, you know, if this was All Quiet on the Western Front, the 3 hours doesn't feel, you know.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I don't know. I think just for this one as well, though, like there was definitely room to cut. But it's his movie, his vision, and it obviously I don't know how well it's done. I don't think it you know, financially was a huge success, but people seem to enjoy it. Really looking forward to seeing whatever he does next, obviously. Sorry, Aster. Yeah, so Mitch, do you have any other movies you want to chat about, or did you drop all of them on us at once?
No, I got a full list. So
fuck yeah.
So I'll just kind of touch on some of the ones I've watched recently. Event Horizon, I revisited. I hadn't seen it in quite a while.
Oh yeah.
I went, yeah, it's still super fun. I got it from the lobby when he brought it in. I was like, hell yeah, I need to add that to my collection. It's super fun. I like it.
Did you buy it?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Nice. I was gonna ask, did you check out any of the special features?
Not yet. That's on my list of things to watch. You know, I got a couple more movies that I bought from him, like The Thing from Another World. I bought from him, and I bought Jacob's Ladder, which I've seen before, but I didn't have it in my collection. So
man,
I
we're
got
all like Jacob's Laddering. 2023 is the year of watching Jacob's Ladder again.
This is Mitch's fault. This is Mitch's fault that I went and bought it. Actually, yeah.
Because you still listen to the podcast, which I appreciate. But
thank you.
I think the Jacob's Ladder thing, because it has come up, it really made me realize that people are still listening to the Terror Table. Because I got a bunch of messages from people like just screenshotting, like even Cody Charleston read the script and watched the movie, and yeah, just shout out everyone.
Yeah, so I gotta get through those, and then I'm gonna go through the special features. I'll let you know how they are. Another one I revisited, and this was actually because I heard a bunch of people like debating online for, you know, because that's the way we deal with things. High Tension. I hadn't seen it in quite a while.
You're right. I have seen a lot of High Tensions. Is like, was it an anniversary of it or something? Because yeah, I've seen a lot of it too.
Yeah. So I revisited it, and they're like, well, like the quote unquote twist is all hokey and shitty and that kind of thing. And I think like, because it came out what, 2000?
It's 2003, so it's 20 years. Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it must have. Okay.
It was a really uncomfortable date experience for me.
The first 15 minutes, you're like, ugh.
Oh god.
I think out of anyone, I could give you an award for like worst movies to pick. Like,
it's true. We were talking about that yesterday with a couple of friends. Like, I went to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre the beginning on a date. It's like that was not a good opener, Mitch. Like, geez.
I went to AVP Requiem on a date.
That movie fucking sucks.
So bad.
It's so dark. I can't even tell what happens.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but like AVP is aliens.
I love Aliens. I love Predator, but it was terrible. Yeah. Anyway, revisiting it, I kind of got more into the twist because I kind of like looked at it as it was coming from, you know, an unreliable narrator.
Mhm.
kind of like revisiting, as opposed to the first time where you kind of like take it where this is what they kind of saw. But then, you know, if we've all done this where we're never the bad guy in our own story, and then let alone if you have those types of mental health issues. And I think it kind of like revisiting it made me like it a little bit more, have more fun with the quote unquote twist. Not everyone likes it, and that's fine. I have two more. They'll be quick. I revisited the original Friday the 13th, mainly because I watched the Netflix like that films when we were young or whatever it was, like the one
films
where
that
they
shaped
break.
us or whatever.
Yes, yeah, and they had it on there, so we watched that, and I really enjoyed that. So I rewatched the film. It's a lot of fun. You know, I do appreciate that in the making of, they just basically say that Friday the 13th is a straight up ripoff of Halloween. I enjoy that.
No
And that
bones
makes some
about
people
it.
upset. Yeah, no bones about it. My clown Richard Clark's gonna hate that, but it's the truth. They said it, not me.
Oh yeah,
It's fun. The practical effects are super fun.
the
I
Baconator.
Kevin Bacon. Bacon.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember watching it the first time in like the 90s. I was like, holy shit. Is that Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon? And stab, 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 right?
Hmm.
And then, as per usual, I have to end with something that made me angry. The old man, like, get off my lawn moment was the last broadcast from 1998.
Oh man.
Really, a lot of
And
people
these are the
like
same.
that.
I was super on board for the first like 2/3 of the movie. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I can see why they said that they should have been Blair Witch before Blair Witch happened. You know, like they were the first ones like kind of revisiting that found footage
Can I cut you
genre.
off for 2 seconds?
Yeah, yeah.
Last broadcast, is that the one where they see the aliens?
No,
Because
you're thinking
I
of the McPherson
No,
tapes.
this is like
that
yes, that yeah. That's I've yet to watch that. This one's about they're chasing like the Jersey Devil. Is there's a murder in New Jersey
okay,
in
because like
the
I've
yeah.
seen this. I'm just having a hard time remembering it, and maybe that it is
I feel like
forgettable.
you're thinking of the McPherson tapes though, Boozy, because
So yes, that's I like that one.
yeah, that was the one that one predates. I'm pretty sure that was like
It's like the 80s.
um like that one predates a 90 like but last broadcast came out the same year as the Blair Witch Project, but Blair
Yeah,
Witch Project is
as
a masterpiece, so
yeah,
that's why
yeah, it's
it
so
was
good.
more successful.
Well, yeah, it was just way better. Plus, like then
Why did it make you mad?
the last third, it it falls apart and it's no longer really a found footage film anymore. Like I don't want to give it away in case anyone wants to watch that piece of shit. But
Please ruin
like
this movie from 1998. I don't think anyone will be mad at you.
do I got the thumbs up from the other Mitch to
Yeah.
fucking ruin this thing? Okay. So like they're talking about it, like finding this footage. It's being like they're taking these old tapes that were found and that showed part of what happened in the murder. And then it was the guy making the fucking movie was the one who was killing people. But then he like you have no idea where he's being filmed. It's no longer found footage. He's like like doing the fourth wall break. It was just it really fell apart and I got really mad and I might have cursed Kevin's name a little bit because he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I was like, this thing's fucking terrible, Kevin. I'm sorry. Um, I'm gonna
Kevin
buy
has a
some movies.
wide variety of likes from what I gathered in my experience with him.
Yeah, it was like, I'm gonna rent this and Extra and Dr. Giggles. And he's like, these are all really good films. And I'm like, okay.
Like that's his job. That people often because
Yeah.
I watched the movie. It's not a horror movie, so I won't spend a lot of time on it. But I watched I Like Movies recently,
Mhm.
and
I saw you gave that a very positive review.
yeah, and I loved it. But it's also like it stars the world's most hateable teenager. Like you just fucking hate every second of him on screen. But at the same time, I was like, oh my god, he's me. Like that's how I was in high school. Like I was such a like little pretentious little fuckhead. But the thing is, like when you're working at a video store, that's your job is to like movies and to be able to suggest things to people and have like, a more diplomatic opinion on things. But that's like when you're a film critic or film fan, it's really hard to do that. Like you have to be subjective. And so it's like, I'm sure he doesn't love every movie that there have been so many movies that we've talked about on the Terror Table that I really didn't like, but I know are good. So it's like,
well, you can distinguish that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like that I know that they have a place for someone, like someone else would enjoy it. But even if it's not my personal taste.
Otherwise, you come off as like the comic book guy. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like if you're owning a store and you're like, actually, I carry this, but actually, it's garbage. You have terrible
this more
taste.
expensive thing.
Well, it's like I think I might have even told the story on the show, but like one guy I worked with, his name was Dane, worked with him at Rogers Video, and a couple was trying to rent Norbit, and he wouldn't let them rent Norbit, so instead he exchanged it for Old Boy. And he's like, no,
come on.
And it's like, dude, like he's like, no, I can't. And yeah, exactly. Know your audience. Like the people renting Norbit don't fucking want Old Boy.
There's a reason they're renting Norbit. They want to be on that braid level. Let them be there.
But instead, here's one of the more challenging movies in the entire store.
Well, yeah, it's like when Blockbuster was still open, it's like, let me rent bum fights. No, I don't want to watch Old Boy. It's like, know your audience. I can't believe that is wild that as a society we just had bum fights that you could rent at video stores.
Yeah, we never had that at like you needed to go to those mom and pop shops or places like the Lobby to get the real deep cut stuff. I know we had Pick a Flick. That was one that I used to go to. It was like in a dingy.
Yeah. I love the dingier the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that, like everyone has different points of view, but then like some people are just fucking wrong too. Like that's another thing. Like I remember a former good friend, I might have told this story. I know I've texted this story to Mitch Oliver, which is my favorite, is like he was trying to tell me that The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, is a stupid fucking movie. Exact quote, it made no sense. It was dumb, not scary. And it's
what part of it made no sense?
We'll get to why this person's opinion is invalid, but it's like in top 3 of my favorite films. Actually, probably top 2.
Yeah, I know. Me and you, Mitch, we have the exact same top 3.
I know, it's really weird.
Yeah.
And then the next sentence is, I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 should have won an Academy Award for Best Picture. And I'm like, this is the fucking worst thing I've ever heard. You are like a food critic whose favorite food is fried bologna. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
This fried bologna.
And How to Train Your Dragon 2 is great.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not great, but you can't say it should win Best Picture.
No,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I know. Yeah, people, there's a lot of opinions out there.
I will tack on because Mitch mentioned, or we were talking a little bit about like special features and talking about the Lobby, because I picked up Alligator from there. I need to watch, like I gotta find somewhere to watch it on 4K because I think that would be fantastic, and I just don't have the capabilities at home. But going,
if you're ever in Edmonton, I got a 4K player and TV, so like,
oh my god, we should.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just be careful with the dogs. They sneak cuddles.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah, I might like I'd complain about that. Oh no, please no.
Buzi's a sneaky cuddler as well.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what they call him.
You better watch yourself. I just want to say that with the special features of Alligator, I did not realize, and maybe this is just me, how big the horror market was for amputees. If you were missing a leg or two, oh my god, you were in high demand.
What? Like what? Elaborate, please.
Oh, okay. There's several scenes in Alligator where they had like an actual alligator and needed somebody's leg to get ripped off, so they would just throw an amputee with like just like a meat leg.
Oh my god.
They were talking about they hired like 5 or 6 amputees. So it's like, you know what? I never realized that like if you're an amputee actor, just get into doing horror movies. It's perfect.
Yeah, that is unreal.
I'm going to interrupt real quick. It's not related to horror movies, but it's to the amputee thing. I was teaching a seminar, and there's a guy there. He's actually really good at jiu-jitsu. He's a congenital amputee. He's missing part of his arm. And I was like, around the seminar, I'm like, okay, find a partner, be an adult. I'm not going to pick partners for you because there's fucking 40 of you. and this guy refused to go with him because he thought it was contagious. And I'm like, you're not going to catch congenital amputeeism. Also, you are
No.
30. You should know this. And I want to punch whoever your teachers were in the face because you are an idiot. Yeah, like, and this was like in the past year.
There's
And
got to be something else going on there.
Dude, okay, like that's not even
know-
something I've heard before as like a conspiracy theory. That's just like some mush brain shit you make up in your head.
Yeah, and
it was
as
That's
much
some
as I
mashed
want to,
potato head shit.
as much as I want to say that that just seems unbelievable. Over the last year, I've really learned how fucking stupid some people are.
it was awful. It was awful trying to have that conversation when I just wanted to like teach jujitsu. But sorry, talking about amputees. Also, like one of the coolest practical effects from The Thing. They needed a double arm amputee, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That like I never thought about the secondary actor industry of that. That's a very specific. So I guess what we're saying is if you ever lose an appendage, there's still a future in acting.
Yeah. Do you have any other ones you want to talk about, Boozy?
I have a couple more, but I'm just gonna leave them. I feel like I'm killing myths.
It was the no sell. Like, yep. Anything else?
Mitch no sells me all the time. It's hard.
I don't know what that means.
I just say
like
some dumb shit and you go, yep.
Yep. Yeah. So like in wrestling, when you're in pro wrestling, when you're getting quote unquote beat up or whatever, you're doing what's called selling the move, where you're like, oh my god, my arm or whatever you're doing.
You're
And
doing your
like,
half of the dance.
yeah, exactly. And then like a no sell is like Ultimate Warrior, where he'll take your finisher and then just stand up and no sell you. So I use this term in normal lingo all the time, which makes me sometimes feel like a moron.
No, you've just
like
you've put Mitch on the pedestal there. Now he knows.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I like knowing that stuff because I even like you. It's no secret I don't know a lot about wrestling, but I love some of the terminology and I like pretending like I'm a wrestler fan when I call myself like, I'm a mark for Kurt Russell.
There we
I
go.
love that. Yeah, I love that. And it
Yeah,
fits.
Mark. No sell. Fabing is like when you like say you're gonna go do an event and like you don't go, you fabe the show is what it's called. Or like same thing with the handshakes. Like you're fabing a handshake. It's a really weird culture.
Yeah.
So is
But
this like shit
yeah.
you guys throw around these terminologies with each other, like backstage all the time with the boys?
Yeah, all the time. And then you talk about gimmicks, but like the word gimmick like can mean everything from like if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, they talk about, yeah, we're taking gimmicks every day because like we're working every day, so I'm gonna take a gimmick and then drink a bunch of booze, take some more gimmicks. And you're like, is he talking about like pain pills?
Like somas?
Yeah, he's talking about somas, or like I'm gonna gimmick in this match, which is like, yeah, you're gonna gig is the term, was where you're juicing.
Man,
Uh,
everybody's just using gimmick as this like
yeah, it's a
multifaceted
catch-all.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, but we had one guy that he'd use gimmick for everything. He's like, "Hey, gimmick me that gimmick," and you're like, "That's like when my dad says, hey, can you give me the thing that does the thing?' And you stare at him like a puppy, where your head's kind of half cocked. You're like, words? Can we just use fucking words, real
I love
words?"
that that's a real thing. Like I've caught myself tilting my head at people and you like it's such a rude thing to do in a weird way, so I have to stop.
It's it's the best reaction. Sometimes I use it in my house, and Sarah has to explain to me that she's not a wrestler, so she doesn't know the stupid things I'm saying.
Sarah must be like well versed in wrestling terms now or knowledge, or she's had to like have watched a million YouTube videos that you put on.
No, like as soon as I have like my wrestling buddies over, she's like, I'm gonna go over here and keep what brain cells I have going by not having to listen to your stupidity.
Right. And
So yeah.
you guys are over there watching, what was it, WrestleMania 9, where Warrior no sells the pedigree.
Oh god, that makes me so mad. Like it makes me so mad. So mad. And I'm like yelling at my TV.
You're like, it's a
Yeah,
fucking pedigree. You landed on your face.
It's a finishing move, and you're not giving him when and it goes sideways. Also, Whisper from 2007 sucks.
What the fuck is Whisper?
It's on Prime. It's terrible.
Well, it's on Prime. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if Mitch has any more. Either Mitch's have any more films to talk about. I will just quickly mention before we start an episode, I try and watch these films that are main features as close to when we need to record as possible. I know that that's like a skirt in your teeth thing, but I always think that it keeps you like fresh. Another thing I try and do is watch the trailers before we start as well, just to have that extra level there, even though I forget a million things anyway. I did not realize until checking out the trailers that both of these films are just available on YouTube. But anyway, you can check them out a proper way on Shudder, but I did not realize that they've been like on YouTube for a while. So
yeah, I think
I have so many notes. I have so many notes for these.
all right,
so
guys.
many notes for this fucking thing.
Well then, yeah, if that's, I don't know, should we save the rest, Buzi? And
yeah, if you don't, I have a couple, but I think that if we're gonna record again this week, then it'd be perfect to leave it there.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, let's take a quick little break here, and then we'll move on to our feature presentation where we'll be talking about Prom Night from 1980 and Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 from I think 86. We'll see you guys on
87.
the other 87. All right. And what's the flower that you get to put on
Corsage.
your date? Yeah, get your corsages ready.
Conch. And your conches, get your conch ready.
and prepare for prom night.
There's a special night in the lives of all of us. A night to be beautiful, to be desirable. A night we can break all the rules and make our own. Prom night. Everyone at Hamilton High is getting ready for prom night. It's a day of rehearsals, arrangements, final preparations, and last-minute phone calls.
Nick?
Wendy, do you still like to play games?
They're too old for games, but someone still wants to play.
Why?
Kelly, it's been a long time. Tonight, it's my turn.
Tonight, someone has come to the prom alone. Someone who watches in the silent corridors.
Kelly.
Someone who waits until no one can help. Prom night. If you're not back by midnight, you won't be coming home.
All right, welcome to our main feature presentation where we're going to kick things off with Prom Night from 1980, which was directed by Paul Lynch and was written by William Gray and Robert Guza Jr. The film stars Leslie Nielsen. You can call him what you want, but don't call him Shirley. Fuck, I fumbled that one hard.
We knew where you were coming from.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, the Scream Queen herself, just, continuing. It's crazy this year. So she did Halloween in 78, and Prom Night and Terror Train both came out in 1980. And I got to admit, this is a first time watch for me as well. So yeah. I don't think I own the remake, unfortunately. But I had seen that one, but this one was kind of was coming to it fresh. And I hadn't seen Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 either. So looking forward to chatting with you guys. Was this a first watch for all of us?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that Mitch, like, especially for you, that's a first time watch, considering the Jamie Lee love.
Yeah, well, that and the slasher love, like I think it's because I had always heard, obviously Prom Night has a really it made its mark in the slasher world, of course. Like
Mhm.
it's one of the originals to rip off Halloween. But that's yeah, I've seen most of them, but I just hadn't always heard the best things about it. And I know how much I hated the remake. So I was like, well, why would I even do this?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about it. So the synopsis is: at a high school senior prom, a masked killer stalks 4 teenagers who were responsible for the accidental death of a classmate 6 years previously. So who wants to kick us off? Mitch, let's just chat about your first time viewing a prom night in 2023.
It was, it kind of really fit into that schlocky slasher genre. There's a lot of like weird shit going on throughout it that are fun to make fun of, but overall, it really fits that time frame of where you see, sleepaway camp and all those different kind of the burning, all the schlocky horror slashers, and it was fun in that way. Was it good? Not really, but was it fun? It did its job. I'd apologize to Sarah for making her watch it, but well, especially the second one. But
Oh, I was gonna
yeah,
say, well,
I'm
at least
Made her watch-
you got her to treat her to Hello Mary Lou.
oh yeah, she is blessed with getting to watch that thing.
So
I had fun with it, but it made a lot of notes on it.
did you know anything about it going in? Like, were you aware like Jamie Lee Curtis was in this? Or
That's it. That's all I knew is Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. That
Okay.
was it.
And you didn't know that it like okay, so this film does have like a little bit of a cult following, which I found out upon checking into this. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mitch. Continue. You have notes.
No, there's nothing really significant that I could say that isn't really in my notes when we start talking about it afterwards. So yeah,
Okay.
we watched it.
Okay. I just kind of want to mention that like we had tossed around what films we were going to cover, and this one came up, and it was like, hey, it's right around grad season. Like that's especially why I've been kind of busy is doing grads, which is really boring. So it's like, hey, it's fresh in my brain. Why
Mhm.
not? And Mitch as a teacher here, that fits. I feel like a very apt episode about graduations. But this was definitely something interesting that like you guys were saying about there being like that big slasher craze post Halloween. And there's so many of them, and I feel like there are a lot of blind spots in terms of like ones we haven't like I haven't seen The Burning, and I know that's a fantastic
Burning's
film.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Burning's
I
fun.
know, and like I have seen like Sleepaway Camp, and Mitch mentioning that one I find like compared to I'm going to talk about a little bit about how I feel about this film, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I feel like just in terms of those like post Halloween slashers, this one's really like in certain aspects poorly made and doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know that that's an easy thing to throw out, is like the slasher film doesn't make sense, but just in terms of like what the killer is doing and how I think it's more how it's presented. There are things I liked about this film, and the more I think about it, a lot of the things I liked are either like good tropes in slashers or else things that were clearly ripped off from like Black Christmas,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and which were also like the creepiest. I think like the phone calls I was really into, and it's like, oh, these are like Black Christmas things I like, that's why. But I think those were pulled off pretty well. And I also like tropes wise, I love the idea of having a solid ass trope with the like having the game that the kids are playing at the start and having that come in later. I think like stuff like that's always great. It kind of solidifies what you're at least trying to do. So
Yeah. For me, like, and this is like a blanket statement for both the movies. All of the good things in both of these movies have been done better in the movies that they're ripping off. I found Prom Night to be such a drag. Like, I really don't give a shit about this movie. Like,
Good.
and the only thing, like, of course, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, and I love and what I like the real positive I can say about her in this is she's not playing Laurie Strode again. Like it's such a similar concept. Like clearly, it's just lifted from Halloween, and then but around this era, like, yeah, this might be one of the originals. Like, it came out before a lot of the most famous Friday the 13th movies that, you know, people now hold near and dear as some of the best slasher movies ever, and even Halloween sequels and whatnot. But like in terms of, you know, you even mentioned Sleepaway Camp, or another one that comes to mind is The Prowler and The Burning.
Yeah,
All movies
Madman,
that fucking
Witcher.
do it so much better than this one for me. And I just found it really, really dull. And
Mhm.
like
I-
there's a couple funny lines, but it feels like it's padded like crazy. It's like they had a 40-minute movie here and they stretched it into an hour and a half.
I really don't like it. It's the killer is presented so lazy. Like, you gotta give me more than a ski mask. That I feel
I
like
didn't mind the
It's
ski mask.
bedazzled. It's bedazzled. It's a
Listen-
bedazzled ski mask. Come on.
Listen, Cry Wolf uses a ski mask, and I like that one better.
I need to, yeah, I haven't seen Cry Wolf in forever. I need to watch
I
that
will
one again.
forever champion that movie.
For sure.
But I also like some of the stuff at the end was I don't know, I fucked with the
Dumb?
vision. Yeah, well, dumb, but I fucked with the vision of what it was trying to do. Like, I loved the before that whole like I don't know what you'd call it, like stabbing dance routine these two had. But I loved seeing the guy like get the axe in the skull, or getting the axe in the head, and then his head's rolling around on the stage and all the light. Like, I thought that was cool, and the idea of having that like the last dance be between like not Laurie, but you know,
Yeah.
be between
The extended dance sequences, man, like so much disco.
and the shitty
Why was it
music.
so long? It was way, way too long. It made no sense why that fucking dance off was so long.
We need more dancing B-roll. Hurry.
Well, they're like, we spent $40,000 on the clearance for this song. We need to make it count. Because yeah, but the one line, I wrote like no notes for this one. I was just bored. But I love the line, for a guy so fast on the disco floor, you are the slowest. Like,
fucking destroyed him with that.
destroyed.
So I love once again, I love the concept of this. How could we not have a good prom night movie? Because there's no fucking
We do.
way there's no fucking way that 3 or 4 are good. Prom night as a slasher should be well done, and the remake sucks. I know we talked a little bit about, I was considering watching it, and then after you'd mentioned like how fucking awful it is, it just talked me right. Like, I knew that it was gonna be awful. Why can we not have a good one? Let's try again.
We do have a good one, Buzi. We just haven't started talking about it yet.
You know what? Fucking Ari Aster hasn't made it yet. That's gonna be his passion project.
No, yeah.
Can we talk about the character of Seymour in it, please?
Yes, which one is that?
That's the one with the van.
Oh,
like the
yeah.
dude with the souped up mega van. It's like, why does he have like this giant van, this character that is like a super pudgy nerd that obviously is 36? That's the other thing. I'll come back to Seymour in a second. Why do all the kids in this school obviously look like they're in their 30s?
That's such a slasher staple.
It's so
it's
funny
6 years
that,
later, but everyone is 18 years older.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, yeah, this one kid clearly has like a mortgage. This guy has like gone through a divorce. Like, these are definitely you actually kickstarted my memory, because I had sent Mitch a Snapchat from the scene where that what was his name again?
Seymour.
Yeah, where Seymour dies, getting flung off the edge in his van there and explodes.
Before it even touches the ground, it
Love
explodes.
that. Yeah, love that.
Why do we not have? That's a great trope. We need to bring that back. We need more vans or cars in general getting flung
Exploding
off the edge.
before they hit anything.
Yeah, like
Or
I saw
exploding
that
at all.
They had at Dark Bridges, we had Drunken Cinema, and they had Killer Clowns, and that's in there as well. It's like, oh, that's some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal. Also, like the bully, Lou. I have several notes on Lou, the bully. Number one, Lou is King Unibrow. That was the exact note I wrote.
Yeah.
That's Stephen King. How dare you?
Yeah. Lou is the ugliest human I've ever seen on TV. Unnecessary. And also, we all know that person. Like, we all know a Lou that is just a full-on, looks like there's a fuzzy caterpillar on his face. and is
And
just
they just
obnoxious
don't.
bully.
Yeah, and they just don't. It's like they take out their unibrow anger on other people. Like, just deal with it, and we'll all
Like the
be.
cafeteria fight scene, which is in the world's smallest school.
I think prom night was Canadian as well.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know Hello Mary Lou was shot in Edmonton.
No
Ugh.
way.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's an Edmonton production.
Man, I was looking for horror film locations to go check out being in Edmonton recently, and why didn't that come up?
Because you
West
didn't
End.
know about the masterpiece that is Hello Mary Lou yet.
That's very true. There's something that will be said about Mary. I just want to finish. I don't know how much more you guys have about prom night, but what the fuck was with the kills?
Where you don't see them.
Yeah, and they got like they would just slow it down and then like
Yeah.
freeze frame on shit. It felt like almost like a TV movie. How it
Yes.
like that's
Yeah.
like if Days of Our Lives had like a slasher episode, that would be how everyone gets dispatched, and it would turn out to be like somebody's like dream or something for like a Halloween episode. There you go. I just wrote an episode right there.
That's the thing that I can't stand about like I'm a big slasher movie fan, but for me it's like if you're gonna have a slasher movie, let's see the slashing, and let's
That's what
let's
we're
highlight.
here for.
That's why The Burning stands out so much. There's some really incredible kills in it, and that's why The Prowler even holds up to be one of the best among all of them. And then in this one, it is just like there's a lot of laziness to it, and it feels like they're trying to imply a lot of the violence because they don't have the budget to show the effects. And I don't know, it just definitely felt in this one particularly, and it just makes it dull. You just watch shitty teenage characters that you don't care about maneuvering through a really dumb situation, and it's it's not even campy fun in my opinion. Like this one it was just boring for me.
No, you're right. I think this one needs to get left in the 80s. This is very much if it was comparable to something today, it'd be like the movie that rips off something in theaters and it's in Walmart before the other movie. It would be Alien versus Hunter.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen Alien versus Hunter, at least the cover somewhere. That fucking movie.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Just if in terms of the slasher movies, there's just so many better ones from this era that I can understand why this one is kind of left behind a little bit. And it's genuinely shocking to me that there is like there's a huge community of people who love Prom Night, but I'm guessing maybe they saw this when they were younger.
Yeah, maybe like I feel like every film as it ages, people kind of hold it with that rose-colored glasses. And I will say on a personal note, Jamie Lee Curtis saying that Virus is the worst movie she's ever done, she must have like forgot that she did this, because there's like Virus is way fucking better than this in every aspect.
Yeah, but 1980 Jamie Lee could sure get it though.
I was gonna ask, because you're into Jamie Lee. I'm not as like I love her as an actress.
Have you seen True Lies?
She doesn't get me bricked up.
You got to see True Lies, and then that'll change your mind.
Trading places.
Yeah, or Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know if you've seen that. Anyways,
not yet. I have a couple things just to like with the ending. If we can talk about the ending,
please.
Number one, I don't understand like the whole setup. Also, why is the killer wearing lipstick when there's no mouth hole on the mask, the bedazzled ski mask he's wearing?
Well, do you remember in Billy Madison where he calls the kid that he bullied in high school who's shining his gun? I felt it was a situation. Yeah, just good, in there putting on the that's more of a like a mental in the mirror thing. It's not as much for anybody else.
Yeah, it's for him, not for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the end, where's Leslie Nielsen? Like, is he off filming Airplane? Like, what happened to him? Like, you just like was
Their
gone.
Budget ran out.
Yeah.
It is really odd seeing him play such nothing characters when he's like he went on to be, even before this, like he's an incredible actor and he's so fun to watch.
And he's so good at emoting, and they just gave him nothing to fucking do.
Yeah, he had nothing to do in this one. Yeah, so this was the same year as Airplane, so maybe he just had all of his energy put into that movie.
right.
You guys have anything else you want to talk about with prom night, or can we get on to Mary Lou?
I think we should graduate from prom night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Vicky's getting ready for the prom.
Good morning, prom queen.
Only nominated and not the winner.
But she's about to get a visit from the past.
I've been seeing things. Hallucinations about Mary Lou Maloney. That girl who died at our school.
The mind plays strange tricks.
It's not my mind, damn you. It's Mary Lou Maloney.
We're in trouble, you and I.
What are you talking about?
Mary Lou Maloney has come back.
It's like I'm not in control of myself. I am afraid I might hurt somebody.
Somehow her spirit has come back from the grave and she will come after you and me.
This is the only thing that will protect you. Demon, be gone.
Be gone. Come on.
You're not leaving this house.
Now, Mary Lou has found her way back. And Mary Lou is coming out to party.
See you later.
So the one that I had heard some positive things about, but mainly I just always heard like it's absolutely bonkers. This movie's fucking ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. I'm interested in seeing it. So Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2 came out in 1987. And it was, my phone is being slow here.
Yep.
It was, the synopsis of it is 30 years after her accidental death at her 1957 senior prom, the tortured spirit of prom queen Mary Lou Maloney returns to seek revenge. And this one is directed by Bruce Pittman and was written by Ron Oliver, who also went on to direct like the $100,000 worth of reshoots that they had to do for this movie. And
no way.
Yeah. I'm going to go all over the place with this movie. What did you guys think of Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2?
It was a lot. Like there was a lot going on. I think because of all the reshoots, it was really disjointed. I wrote down the quote from Sarah as soon as it stopped. I hated everything about that quote from Sarah. For me, it was just like, it was just all over the map and hard to follow because it was just, like you said, it's bonkers. I have a lot of notes. I love Michael Ironside. So
yes, that I was surprised to see him in that. Like he shouldn't be. He should be doing better things at this time.
Yeah, at this time, definitely. And I made a bunch of notes. Most of them are making fun of Billy at the beginning, but we can get into that later.
All your notes are just bullying a kid.
Yeah.
You're taking.
There's no way he's a kid in that. There's no way he's a kid. He's my age, obviously.
Yeah, shoot on them all you want. I'm definitely here for that.
Oh,
but
that was a good one.
Quick one that I want to say is that this film was written and filmed as The Haunting of Hamilton High. The title was changed to Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2 by Samuel Goldwyn Company, who purchased it and decided to market it as a sequel. The similarities to the original Prom Night in 1980, such as the name of the school and the line, "It's not who you go with, it's who takes you home," were entirely coincidental. So I'm a big fan of these types of situations where it's like, because clearly this is just this movie has nothing to do with the original Prom Night. Nothing about it is the same. First of all, it's not boring as hell. It's like the only thing that it has in common is that it's like paying homage so blatantly to every other horror movie before it.
I'm raising my eyebrow at homage.
What do you mean?
It feels like a lot of these are just ripping off.
I would say that I would say that would be the case if all of the characters weren't named after horror icons. So I think that it was
fair,
intentional. So like, and that was another thing. Like this came out the year after Night of the Creeps, which also did it, which is a far superior movie in every single way. But like when you have that kind of campy dialogue that's in this movie, like even the dialogue just had more, it was just written with more fun and spirit.
Yeah. And
like granted, it's a Carrie ripoff, it's a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff, heavily Nightmare on Elm Street. And The Exorcist, there's like, every single movie you could just feel the love of the horror genre that Ron Oliver, like the writer, had making it. And I just found it to be, I was surprised by how much fun I had with it. Because it's goofy, it's hokey, but there's some really good effects in this movie, specifically
they go
the end.
for it. Yeah, I really I obviously this is the best prom night
that we've seen. Yeah,
that
I think it's safe to say that this is probably better than 3 and 4.
Yeah, and like you were saying, I love the I also love the sequel attached to a film that has nothing to. It was just like we're buying this. That was like one of my favorite sequels that does the same thing as like Curse 2. Has nothing to do with the first Curse movie, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, but this is, I liked this one a lot. It was very endearing, and yeah, I really did feel the love for Nightmare on Elm Street. And then yeah, when it kicked over to being more of a Carrie thing, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And it's I'm glad that they did that, because a good Carrie homage is always welcome around here.
Yeah. Let's quickly touch on that like the movie literally kicks off with, instead of pig's blood being poured on Carrie, she gets set on fire by a stink bomb.
I will say that like, when your prank goes a little too far. Why was her dress so flammable?
She's obviously made of kerosene.
Yeah,
like that's what I wrote. Mary Lou is obviously made of kerosene in this scene.
Maybe like back in those times, the deodorant had more flammable material and less aluminum.
Yeah, no, it's just everything about it is hokey, but there's some like genuinely cool kills. Sorry, Buzi, I didn't mean to cut you off if you were still going.
I enjoy bouncing around on these topics. I think that there was some fun stuff, even down to like the music. I loved that they had, Mary Lou's kind of like a bad bitch, Anytime she did come out, she had like,
she's a baddie.
Yeah, she's like
certified baddie.
The creeper. She has her own fucking music,
own theme song, license plate.
But where do I go? Like I think that the reason for a lot of people that this is kind of fresh in people's minds is there was a re-release of this done in the last couple of years, I believe, because I've seen a lot of people posting about this film in a weird way. Like what was the other movie Mitch had mentioned that also had an anniversary that we were like, why do people keep talking about this?
High Tension.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. But yeah, this is what else can we say? I love the special. I also sent Mitch. I was Snapchatting.
I loved it.
These. Do you remember the scene where the guy gets zapped from the computer because he got getting
electrocuted by the computer?
Yeah, after he had his little interaction with that woman, and then he was going to change the score again on Mary Lou. And the electricity bolts are going to his thing. I was saying that's like the first time I saw boobs on the internet.
I'm watching that scene right now. I have it pulled up on YouTube. It's so good.
I think that like Michael Ironside kind of like put some effort into this. I think he's a fantastic actor. I know that as it went along, he kind of just like picked up a lot of gigs wherever he could. Good for him for staying busy. But yeah, this was really cool. I liked him being in this specifically. And I also will say, how do I get my hands on that rocking chair there, that rocking horse?
The rocking horse is legit. That's like, and that feels like such a Poltergeist homage.
Yeah.
Like there's just everything about this movie just feels like it's such a overtired, played out thing to say, but a love letter to these other movies. But that's why I was like, it would feel like it's just ripping things off if it wasn't so clear that there was intent behind showing like the love for these movies. Like even the first, I think it's the second kill in the movie, barring like, Mary Lou getting set on fire, boom, roasted.
Getting pranked. Okay.
Yeah, getting pranked. But like the one girl getting like hung up and strangled by the bed sheet. It's like, that's right out of Nightmare on Elm Street.
I
like
love the misdirection on that one, that she was going to get stabbed and then she gets
Yeah, it looks like
drawn
Is
she's
it the
gonna
paper
get
cutter?
the
Yes.
guillotine.
I
Yeah, looks like
thought
it's-
that was a very smart kill to give us the misdirect with that.
Love the chalkboard kill.
I was gonna ask Mitch Clarke about that as a teacher. Do they still use chalkboards, or is it all like digital and you have lasers and everyone's in
Probably whiteboards.
yeah,
We just no
you guys
laser,
are
just
all
a
in-
whiteboard and a smart board. I use a smart board every once in a while.
What's
you
a
guys
smart
don't
board?
VR everything.
Well, it's like it's connected to your computer, so you can throw up like your PowerPoints at the same time. You write on it. You can have your notes, and then you have this like a stylus pen, and you can add in notes in there.
That sounds like a smart board. I'd like to see a dumb board.
It's called a chalkboard.
I guess so.
Wow, what a no sell. Anyway, with the chalkboard, I thought that was really cool as like but is that actually scary for anybody? Like, could you be like, oh fuck, a chalkboard? I don't want to get sucked into that.
Oh man, as a kid, there's so many deranged things that have no right being scary that were scary to me. So I could see that bothering a child. But like now, like this is just a great example of a movie like that we always talk about, like the fun campy movies to put on with your friends. And it's like Prophecy, even Prophecy's higher art than that. Also shout out
I love
myself.
Prophecy.
Yeah, shout out myself for putting up the poll on Prom Night 1 or 2 and giving Prophecy a you could choose from Prophecy. That's kind of fun we have on our Instagram.
I love that Prophecy's taken off, like in our circle at least. Of like, oh shit, Prophecy fucks.
Yeah, it do
Best
be the best
sleeping bag kill ever.
Yes.
Right?
Followed by Jason X.
Yes. I was about to say the Jason X one's amazing.
I find this, and I know that this is like a classic 80s thing, but I find it so odd when films are like specifically about like teens and stuff and being in high school, and then there's just gratuitous nudity.
Yeah.
And I know that's a selling feature or was at the time and maybe still is, but it was just it's so much in it. And then like her trying to kiss the other girl in the shower. It was just so much shit went on in that change room. And she's got her old her boom box playing her what fucking old timey songs. Hey, come on, baby, some hands.
I think it's from the 60s. I think it's Goodbye Mary Lou or whatever. Goodbye Heart, I think is what it was.
But she was dead.
Stop asking questions.
What is she? She haunted.
Yeah, this is not the place for like trying to find logic and reasoning. Not this film. Does it make sense? No. Was it fun? Yes. Like why does the Mary Lou monster when she like rips through? Why does she look like old Greg? I don't know.
Oh, I love that final effect, the chest burster.
Yeah,
and then crawling out of the body, and it's just like such a grotesque image, and it looks great.
I have to wonder, like maybe it's just me misremembering, but the Mary monster at the end, like I don't know if it was like they did a reshoot. I couldn't imagine them wanting to do a reshoot for all of this, but like at certain scenes it looked like a completely different person, which could just be the stunt double. It was just like clearly a guy wearing a wig.
Yeah,
and maybe that's just like me, like how I was seeing it, but that like certain times it's like that's not Mary Lou right there. But
it's a monster. You can be whatever you want.
That's fair. I really do like once again, I love the idea of this having this like vengeful spirit come back and like come and go in this girl's body. I like that. And then I think that it really helped make her seem a little more sinister, like once again with that rocking horse after it like turns evil. I love that her and the rocking horse are just hanging out being evil together for a while. It's like her version of like the claw with the cat.
And the thing that I like about this movie, that I found interesting while like doing some research on it, is it got some pretty, like in my opinion, well-deserved praise as well. Like critically, there was some really positive reviews from well-known names at the time. Like Kevin Thomas of the Los Angeles Times said, like so a part of his review, he said, you don't have to take Hello Mary Lou at all seriously, and it'd probably be a mistake to do so. Certainly, it's not on a deeply personal, highly idiosyncratic artistic level of a David Lynch film, but it is a splendid example of what imagination can do with formula genre material. And then he did compare it to saying it's a horror Blue Velvet, which is like, that's
Okay.
insane.
Okay.
Like, I love Blue Velvet, love Lynch, but it's like, it is just so, like, everything about this movie is just deranged. And that's what makes it entertaining.
Last real question. Actually, I have two. First one is, why didn't the dad stop the daughter from making out with him? Remember that scene before
Oh
she
my
left to
God,
go to prom?
yeah. Oh God, I can't believe I almost didn't mention that.
I forgot it. Yeah, and I was so confused. Oh man, yeah. Let's unpack that, because the dad didn't react the way any father should react.
Yeah, it was concerning as I was watching it, and it went on for way too long. It was the equivalent of the dance scene from the first film.
Yeah, it was so drawn out and so uncomfortable. There's a
then,
million moments
on purpose, maybe.
It definitely was. There's so many moments. It's trying to make you uncomfortable, and it's like, that's kind of an easy thing to do. Make someone make out with their dad for a prolonged period, and have it look so erotic.
Well, that and the erotic dancing for Michael Ironside, she really dropped it down low for him.
Yeah, she hit the gritty.
I also love that Michael Ironside spends so much of this movie being like, "Son, quit being horny," and he's like, "I can't, Dad," and he just constantly leaves.
I can't, Dad.
I can't not be horny, Dad. I'm fucking 18. Like,
oh man.
I like how Billy gained more hair as he got older and became the principal.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
He was trying a new experimental product.
My note. Why does the high school kid Billy have the receding hairline like The Rock and Scorpion King? That's what I wrote. Billy is obviously 40.
Yeah,
it's so unnecessary. But then, as soon as I realized it was Michael Ironside, I was like, right here it is, Ironside in caps, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. So I was pretty stoked that Michael Ironside was in it.
I am gonna message all the dirt sheets now, and it's gonna be Canadian wrestler Mitch Clarke buries The Rock's hairline.
I'll get some. Someone will hear about me for once. That'll be the big thing.
Yeah, you just made an enemy of all the Samoans. Good luck.
Entire family.
You know what? Maybe if they had more wrestling content in this, it would be a more stellar movie for all of us. But I think honestly, this is actually, I'm gonna rewatch this at some point.
Oh yeah,
I think this is kind of a little fun hidden gem. Yeah,
this is like the very definition of that.
Yeah, and I know like Mitch, you're a big fan of Nightmare on Elm Street more than myself, and I do love the series as well. I think that it's cool that there's a film that does a good job of actually kind of taking those ideas and concepts or paying homage and does it really well. I think that chalkboard scene could have been really hokey if done improperly, but I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, no, it's a blast. And just a little bit of trivia that you can find all on the film's IMDb. But you'll see most of this, it really was Ron Oliver's movie more than anyone, I think. And it ended up being that way because most of the trivia is all about him. But one of the things I found interesting is when tasked with directing reshoots, first-time director Ron Oliver called Wes Craven for advice on directing a teen horror film. His advice was give them a scare, give them a hard-on, and send them home.
Oh, they did that.
Oh, creepy old Wes.
Yeah.
How do you just get... How do you just get his number like that?
Oh man, he's probably, people were probably well connected back then, and especially Ron Oliver went on to, he directed 16 episodes of Goosebumps, 17 episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark, 3 episodes of Degrassi. He directed most of Breaker High, and 4 episodes of The New Addams Family. So he it's very successful.
Got around.
Yeah.
I would love to pick his brain because that's a very specific thing about hey, what's I know that there wouldn't be a huge difference, but it does feel like Are You Afraid of the Dark was slightly more adult than Goosebumps. Like, what would be the difference, like filming stuff like that? Just, or, even like the concept of editing that together and being like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's
this has to
probably
be slightly darker, but we
that,
can't
or
push
I
it
don't
too
know.
much.
Yeah, they probably were just able to push it more with different networks.
It's this is very interesting that way because I don't know about you guys. Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark always felt like the more metal version of
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Are You Afraid
No,
of the Dark
totally.
scared me way more.
Yeah.
No, I
But
loved
like
both of them.
they were both good, but like it was definitely like tiered as you got up. It was more mature,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like the scares kind of like would follow you a little bit more. But imagine you're like one of the people for really getting like younger people into horror movies, because like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark really were that outlet for like a lot of us getting into horror. You know what I mean? It was like the easiest, most accessible version that we'd have as kids.
Yeah, especially because like
And
before
Breaker
that,
High.
and Breaker
Yeah.
High, I feel like kids, before, if you're especially like young adult horror, would just end up having to go to something like a Stephen King because kind of that's more of that established name, and it's like who do I go find for horror books? But yeah, having Goosebumps is like something that's so accessible, and especially having cool covers. I know that we talked about this
Yeah.
like so many times on the show and all our favorite covers and stuff. But yeah, that's really the part of it. And then being accessible enough that the scares don't, maybe don't like, I don't know if this would be the right term, but like follow you home, where it's like, oh, okay, we had like a mostly happy ending. I'm not terrified still.
Yeah.
Except for that one with the librarian who's like a bug or 8 bugs. That one fucking did not like that one.
It was like Goosebumps.
Yeah, don't you remember that
Yeah.
one? The it was like having late library books and they came in at night and the librarian was chewing on bugs.
It doesn't ring a bell. I think I
No,
gotta
and then
go back.
there's also that one where there's like that phony superhero and the kids go into his industrial lair. That one was also very scary. It was like
Yeah.
kind of like the Crimson Chin looking motherfucker.
We're due for
Good
another
grab.
Goosebumps episode.
Oh my god, I would love to do another Goosebumps. Those were so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, yeah, is there anything else you guys want to chat about with Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2? Most ridiculous name in horror, possibly.
It really rolls
Electric
off the tongue.
Boogaloo.
Yeah.
I think this is like you said, it's knowing how to frame it going in, and that I think it's one of those things you have to watch more than once. Like the first time, there's almost too much going on in terms of like, and as you said too, it's you got to find all these little homages or like these little tasty treats hidden throughout it, and that's gonna be the big thing. Is
it's like
if
Easter.
and when I rewatch it, yes, Easter eggs.
It's especially in terms of it being a sequel to Prom Night. Like I watched these in the same night, and it's like, holy shit, is this ever tonal whiplash?
Yeah.
But I was also like, thank God this one is at least fucking entertaining.
Yeah, it could not, these could not be any more different.
No.
This one definitely a lot of fun. I definitely would recommend people check it out. It is a little bit of an 80s hidden gem, I would say, because I don't know too much about it. I will ask for you guys, because this is where my sick brain is going, like, is there any interest to watch the other ones? I feel like I want to dabble in just to see like what it's all about.
I think I want to see Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss, because actually I could be wrong, but I think maybe both 3 and 4, like 3 is officially directed by Ron Oliver. But when doing my research on these ones, I did read that 3 goes directly into comedy, and it doesn't like always work. Like apparently Mary Lou is the favored one. Haven't read too many positive things about 3 or 4.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. This one's definitely, it's going to be on my rotation for when I'm feeling something particularly trashy. One of those things. Like I got a soft spot for this kind of campy shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, shout out, rest in peace, Treat Williams.
Yeah. All right.
Deep Rising alumni.
Too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I guess with that being said, Mitch, do you have any promos you want to cut or anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to shout out? Do you want to tell people about your your corgis? What can you do for us here?
I'll send like a promo tomorrow when I'm like really feeling it in the morning. I'll send one to Mitch and he can throw it in at the beginning or at the end as like after credit stuff. But
Right. I'm
you watch
sorry.
pro wrestling?
I didn't realize that throwing the option to cut a promo for a pro wrestler would be so difficult.
I
had to dab on you one time with that one.
Was this 2015? Good job. But yeah, I'll think of something. No, I'll go in hard on Derek. But pro wrestling wise, you can watch me like RCW and like Top Talent and some other bigger shows in Western Canada. Try to do some big things. Hopefully, see me in PPW soon.
Hell yeah.
I love working for them. Get to see Jeff Drake. Right now, just doing a ton of stuff at the Stunt Garage. They have, a couple guys that were in The Last of Us and some other like really big shows. So it's super cool being able to learn from them. And yeah, socials, Mitch Clarke MMA, because I'm super original. That's it. I miss you guys in person, do this podcast.
Agreed.
In person. While Mitch Oliver is slowly dying, like our first episode.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, the first, that was like 2 days before the world shut down.
Yeah, it was super nuts. But I'm just really happy to have been a part of the Druid's Hand project. It's kind of like kick-started a new thing for me, and I was really blessed, lucky, whatever you want to call it, to be able to meet you guys and be able to be in something that was so awesome and so special, and has led to some other really cool things. And I know it's just the start for both of you guys too. So I see a whole bunch of success for both of you guys, because you guys are awesome and you guys kick ass. And I can't wait to see what kind of cool things you guys do.
Thanks, man.
Wow. I asked you to cut a promo and you just like cut like the sweetest promo on. Yeah, like that was really fucking nice. And it's wild to be like, because it's like it's a treat that getting to know you and getting to experience, moving forward in our friendship and all the crazy shit. Yeah, it's so wild, and seeing all the success and growth that you've had as well. And I will say earned. Yeah, it is. And Mitch, you can pump them up after. I just have one more quick thing, because I'll forget otherwise. Change your Instagram handle. Mitch Clarke, pro wrestler, like, Mitch Clarke, famous actor.
I like Mitch Clarke MMA.
Yeah, it's just like
he's got to embrace a new chapter. I'm so into your wrestling life that I'm just like, yeah, embrace it.
Embrace it. Just go 2 feet into full heel.
Yeah, no, and be like, no kayfabe, Mitch Clarke.
I love that.
No, man, anyway. It's very, very well, so appreciated, obviously. And I know I've told you a lot over the course of the last year and everything. Like, this wouldn't have happened without you. And you're like one of the first people that put faith in me and encouraged me to do this. And you were the first person to volunteer to be in the film. And that gave me a whole bunch of the confidence to go and actually do it, knowing that I had you. And it's so incredibly appreciated. And likewise, I can't wait to work together again. Like, we're going to be buddies forever, but like, there's going to be a time we're like, I know Buzi and I are both working our asses off to get movies made and everything. So it's going to happen again. And I can't wait for that day. But I also can't wait to see you in Dark Match. And like, when I was at Cuff, I was talking to the producer of the film, Michael Peterson, and he was telling me that you were great. And he's like, you have a big role. Like, I'm excited to see. He's like, you had a lot of shit to do in that movie.
It was really crazy. Yeah. It was really nuts.
Literally, like, Mitch does a bbig literal roll forward, and everyone was like, wow, that's a really big roll, buddy.
Look, I'm an athlete. Yeah.
Sorry.
Team. It was really cool and really surreal, and I can't wait for it to come out. And hopefully, like, just the fact that now I have some like actual footage from Druid's Hand, and when that comes out, the Dark Match comes out, I can start to like have a bit of make a reel instead of just using like all my fighting and like stunt stuff and / the me getting like powerbombed through shit, like the actual like pretend I'm a real actor So
You are a real actor.
You are, yeah, you are.
You're showing range. Like that's what, like, 'cause I know some of what you do in Dark Match, just we've talked about it. It's like a very, very different role than what you played in Druid's Hand. And I'm excited for people to see that. But that's been one of the big common things that comes up everywhere we showed, is people could not believe that that was your first time really doing a movie. Because like you look so fucking good on the screen, and like you just really command the camera. Like, so it's awesome.
I think like Druid's Hand really worked out well. Like I feel weird saying this, but like I got an acting coach in the past while, Mike Migliera. He was like the casting director for Blue Mountain State, which was like super cool because it's like a show I really like. But he was like, "You have gravitas," and I'm like, "I don't know what that means." But he's like, and it like it really fit into Druid's Hand really well. But like I'm trying to like expand and do better, and you know, like all I can say is thank you to you for giving me this opportunity to have an awesome jump off point.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
I will say I need to ask a favor of Mitch Clarke next time I see him. So I know that nobody can see this, and you can cut this if you want, but I think it's right there. Yeah. So my VHS is in the shelf here, and I have Jesse and Mitch's signature in it, but I'll have to get Mitch Clarke's signature on it as well.
Hell yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy time, but this is just the beginning. So, but yeah, thanks again for coming on, Mitch. And this obviously not going to be the last time. Great catching up with you, and we'll talk again soon, like we always do. But yeah, for everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. You can follow us Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll have some updates there. It's obviously we're just leaning into summer, so things are getting even busier, but hopefully Buzi and I are going to be able to sit down and record some more episodes soon. So you can check out what we got going on our Instagram, keep up to date there. Last thing for me is I just want to remind everyone that if you haven't seen it yet, Druid's Hand is available on Screamfest YouTube channel. We just crossed 10,000 views. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I really appreciate everyone taking a look at it and seeing what we did. And yeah, Buzi, you got anything you want to touch on before we close up?
Yeah, I just want to say you can go onto screamfestyoutube.com and check out Druid's Hand on there. They just passed 10,000 views, so if you want to go check that out, that'd be great.
All right. Okay, thanks so much for listening. We'll see you all next time on the Terror Table.